Hello boys and girls. This video is to go over the answers to the Unit 1 study guide in order to prepare for the Unit 1 test you will be taking later on this week. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I'm going to pull up my document camera, and now you should be looking at the Unit 1 study guide. Directions. Answer each question. Remember to show your work. Number 1, estimate the difference to the nearest hundred. Keywords in this question are estimate, difference, and the nearest hundred. Estimate means to round. Difference is the answer to a subtraction problem. And nearest hundred tells me where I'm going to need to round. So I'm going to set up my problem. 1,824 minus 679. Okay? Now it says round or estimate to the nearest hundred. So that means that I'm going to be rounding to the hundreds place in both of my numbers. So I'm going to start with 1,824. I find my place. I look to the right, just one more space. 5 or more, raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. The 2 tells remain the same, so it's going to be 1,800. Looking at my second number in the problem, the 6 is in the hundreds place, so I look to the right. It's a 7. 5 or more, raise the score. So the 7 is telling my 6 to round up to a 7, so 679 rounds to 700. And now I'm going to subtract. 0 minus 0 is 0. 0 minus 0 is 0, 8 minus 7 is 1, and 1 minus 0 is 1. So the answer to number 1 is 1,100. Number 2, estimate the sum to the nearest hundred. Again, the key words are estimate, sum, and nearest hundred. Estimate again means to round. Sum is the answer to an addition problem. And nearest hundred is what you should round to. So you're going to set up your problem, 649, 66, and 87, and you are adding them. So you're going to create your problem. So it says round to the nearest hundred. So I'm going to take my first addend, and the 6 is in the hundreds place. So I look to the right, and the 4 tells my 6 to stay the same. So 649 rounds to 600. The second number is 66. And it says round to the nearest hundred, but there's no number there. So when there is an absence of a number, boys and girls, we're going to pretend that that's a 0. I look to the right, and the 6 tells my 0 to bump up. So the 0 will become a 1. And everything behind it would become 0. So 67 rounded to the nearest hundred is 100. My last addend is the same concept. There's no number in the hundreds place. So in the absence of a number, we're going to pretend that's a 0. And I'm going to look to the right, and it's an 8. And the 8, 5 or more, raise the score. The 8 tells my 0 to bump up. So the 0 becomes a 1, and everything behind it comes 100. So 87 rounded to the nearest hundred equals 100. So now I'm going to put all my addends together and add them up. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0. 6 plus 1 is 7 plus 1 is 8. So the answer is 800. Number 3, it says estimate the sum. Again, estimate is a keyword. Sum, answer to an addition problem. It says what is a reasonable range for the answer to this problem? So a range is like a high and a low. So we're looking for what would be a reasonable range when you estimate the sum of this answer. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to write 9,623, and I'm going to add to that 376. Okay, so it says estimate, so remember we're rounding. Now, if you look at your answer choices, most of them are rounded to the nearest 1,000, okay? Nearest 1,000, maybe the nearest 10,000. But looking at my numbers that I have to add together, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna round to the nearest 1,000. So I'm gonna round to this place value. So I look to the right, and the 6 tells my 9 to bump up. 5 or more raise the score. So the 9 would become a 10, and it would be 10,000. And then I'm going to round to the nearest 1,000 right here. So there's no number there. So in the absence of a number, I'm going to put a 0. I look to the right, and it's a 3. 5 or more raise the score. 4 or less, let it rest. The 3 tells my 0 to be the same, right? So it's going to become 0, and I'm going to have no thousands. So I'm going to add them together, and I get 10,000. Now, if I look at my answer choices, A, 1,000 to 9,999, that is not reasonable because 10,000 is greater than 9,999. So I'm going to cross that out. Now, letter B, 100,000 to 110,000. 10,000 is less than 100,000, so that is not the answer. Letter C, 10,000 to 11,000. That might be a contender because we got 10,000 over here and 10,000 over here, but I'm going to put a dot here because in math, we want to make sure we look at all of the answer choices before we make a decision. Then letter D says 20,000 to 21,000. And I know that that can't be the correct answer because 10,000 is less than 20,000. So my answer is C. C is a reasonable range. Number 4, Olivia's mother had $130 to spend at the store. She had items that cost $71. Sorry, let me just make this a little bit dimmer. There we go. She had items that cost $71, $25, and $14. About how much money would she have left? Well, keywords in this story is about how much. About means I'm going to round. Remember, about is a keyword for rounding. And would she have left? So I'm looking for a difference. So that means I'm going to subtract. Now, key information in this problem is she had $130 to spend, and she had items that cost $71, $25, and $14. So I'm going to do the U of UPSC. I know she has $130 to spend, and she wants to buy items that cost $71, $25, and $14. And the question is about how much left will she be, how much money will be left. Okay, so my plan is the first thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to round the items. And then I'm going to need to subtract it from 130. And that should give me my answer. So now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to solve. So I'm going to take 71, 25, and 14, and I'm going to round them. I'm going to round to the nearest 10. 71 rounds to 70. The 1 tells my 7 to stay the same. 25, the 5 tells my 2 to round up, so that's going to be 30. And 14, the 4 tells my 1 to stay the same, so that's going to become 10. So altogether, Olivia's mom wants to spend 0 plus 0 plus 0 is 0, and then 7 plus 3 is 10 plus 1 is 11. So she wants to spend about $110. Now, that is not the answer to this problem, boys and girls, because it says how much money will she have left. So that means I have to just follow my step number 2, where I need to subtract 130 minus 110. And so now I'm out of space, so I'm going to come up here into this white area, and I'm going to take 130 minus 110, and 0 minus 0 is 0, 3 minus 1 is 2, and 1 minus 1 is 0. So the answer is $20. Olivia's mother will have about $20 left over after buying the items. That is number 4. Turn the page. We're looking at number 5. Now in this section, boys and girls, the calculator is allowed. And the reason why it's allowed is because the math smarty pants in the world don't necessarily want to test your accuracy, like how well you add, subtract, multiply, or divide. They want to test, do you understand what the problem is telling you to do? Like, how do you interpret the answers? So we're going to go ahead and start with number 5. That's why you are allowed to have a calculator. So you can choose a handheld calculator, or you can use a calculator on your phone, or you can use a calculator online. So we're going to start with number 5. Number 5, it says, in Delaware, there are 241 fewer Target stores than in Maryland. So I'm going to go ahead and box 3,241 Target stores in Delaware. Delaware has 2,672 Target stores. It says how many Target stores are in Maryland? Okay, so here's what I know. Here's what I understand. That Delaware has 2,672 stores. And that is 3,241 fewer than Maryland. And they want to know how many Target stores are in Maryland. So Target stores in Maryland. Okay, so I like to think about this as a visual, okay? So here is we're going to use a box model or a bar model, okay? So I know that I want to find a total. I want to find the number of stores in Maryland, okay? I don't know what that answer is. I do know that Delaware has 2,672 stores. And that is 3,241 fewer than Maryland. So that means that I am going to need to put 3,241 over here. And so now I'm going to use that information to solve. So I'm going to pause for a second because my calculator is not working, and I will be right back. Okay, sorry about that, boys and girls. So I know Delaware has this amount of stores, and I know that it's fewer, that number is fewer than Maryland. So in order to find out Maryland's total amount of Target stores, my plan is going to be to add the two numbers. So I'm going to set up my problem. 2,672 plus 3,241. And now I'm going to use my calculator because I want to make sure that I'm correct. I put a new battery in, so it should be good to go. So I got 2,672 plus 3,241. And so the answer is Maryland has 5,913 stores. The answer is 5,913. Okay, clear my calculator out, and let's move on to number 6. Number 6 says a sporting goods factory makes 4 types of balls. 4 types of balls: soccer balls, footballs, baseballs, and basketballs. The factory made a total of 64,713 balls in one day. 13,567 were soccer balls, 21,002 were footballs, and 16,372 were baseballs. And the rest were basketballs. The rest were basketballs. The question is, how many basketballs were made that day? All right, so here's what I know. Here's what I understand. That the factory made 64,713 balls, sporting good balls, okay? Out of those 64,713 balls, 13,567 were soccer, 21,002 were footballs, and 16,372 were baseballs. And so the question is, how many were basketballs? We don't know. Okay, so this is a multi-step problem, boys and girls. My plan, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add 13,567 and the footballs 21,002 and the baseballs 16,372 together. I'm going to add them. And then the second step is to take this answer, whatever I get here, and I'm going to subtract that from 64,713 minus my unknown answer, okay, my question mark. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and solve that. So I'm going to clear out my calculator. So I'm going to do step 1, 13,567 plus 21,002 plus 16,372. And I get a sum of 50,941. So 50,941. And then I'm going to take that number and subtract it from 64,713. So 50,941. Okay, I'm going to clear my calculator and I'm going to subtract 64,713 minus 50,941. And so the answer is 13,772. And those were basketballs. And that is my answer to number 6. Number 7, Mr. Jones flew 4,721 miles for business trips in 1 year. The following year, he flew 13,845 miles. How many more miles did he fly in the second year than in the first? All right, here's what I know. I understand. In year 1, he flew 4,021 miles. In year 2, he flew 13,845 miles. And the question is, what is the difference between year 1 and 2? The difference between year 1 and year 2. So my plan is I'm going to take year 2 because it's the bigger number, 13,845 miles minus year 1, 4,721 miles, and I'm going to subtract. So I'm going to take my calculator, because again, this is the part that they want to know, you know, and I'm going to use my calculator to help me out with my calculations. So 13,845 minus 4,721. And I get a total, it's not money, of 9,124 miles. So that is the difference between year 1 and year 2. Turn the page. And now we are looking at number 8. Clear your calculator. Number 8, Mrs. Smith had $1,465 in her bank account on Friday. On Saturday, she deposited $517 into her bank account. Later that day, she bought a new sofa for $699. And the question is, how much money does she have in her account after she bought the sofa? So there's a couple of things that we have to understand or know in order to solve this problem. This word deposited, it's a banking term, okay? So when I get money and I deposit it into my bank account, I'm adding it to something I already have. And then this word bought, okay, this word bought, if I buy something, I spend money. So that means I'm subtracting. So let's talk about what I understand. I know that Mrs. Smith has $1,465. Okay? She deposits $517. And then she buys a couch or a sofa for $699. And the question is, how much money is left? Okay, so my plan, first thing I need to do is I need to take what she had in the bank and add it to the money she deposited. So first thing I'm going to do is take 1,465 and I'm going to add 517. Okay, and I'm going to get a total. We'll just call this question mark. The second step is I'm going to take that total, that question mark, and I'm going to subtract $699 because I bought a sofa. And then that should give me my answer. So this is my understanding, this is my plan, and now I'm going to solve. Again, I'm going to use my calculator because, again, this is the part, boys and girls, that they want to know you know how to do. And so I'm going to clear my calculator and do step 1. So step 1, I'm going to add 1,465 plus 517. So 1,465 plus 517. And that is a total of $1,982. Step 2 is to take that $1,982. Let me make sure I'm right here. 5 plus 7 is 12, plus 1. 6 plus 1 is 7, plus 1 is 8. Yep, okay. So I'm going to take this total, and now I'm going to subtract $699. So 1,982 minus 699. All right, so I have 1,982 already in my calculator, so I'm just going to subtract 699. And I have left over $1,283. So my answer is $1,283. All right, number 9 says select the bar model that best represents the problem. So remember, a bar model is a visual picture of a word problem. So it says here, Lola and Addison went on a trip to pick raspberries with their dad. Together, they picked 646 raspberries. So 646 is an important number. Addison said she picked 312 berries. And she wanted to know how many raspberries Lola picked. All right, so when in doubt, draw it out, okay? Because when you're trying to match something, you need to make something. So I know when they went picking raspberries that they picked a total of 646. And that is a combination of Addison and Lola. So I'm going to put an A for Addison and an L for Lola. Addison says she picked 312 berries. And we want to know how many Lola picked. So if I look right here, which one matches my, my drawing, and it appears that this one right here matches the situation. So I have a total of 646 raspberries. I have Addison's total, 312, and Lola's amount is a question mark. Number 10, it says a square flower bed has a length of 16 feet. What is the perimeter of the flower bed? Okay, perimeter is where we add up all the sides. Okay, now in these types of particular questions, boys and girls, it's helpful to draw a diagram. So I know that the flower bed is a square. And I know that each side of the square has a length of 16 feet. Now, things that we know about squares, there are 4 sides, and all 4 sides are equivalent or equal. So if this is 16 feet, then all the other sides are 16 feet. And now to find the perimeter, you have to add. So perimeter would be 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16, okay? Or you could do 16 times 4. Either of the answers will be, or equations will get you the correct answer. So I'm going to do 16 plus 16 plus 16 plus 16, and I'm going to get 64 as my answer. And then I'm just going to double check 16 times 4. So 16 times 4 equals 64. So the perimeter is 64, but don't forget the measurement, feet. 64 feet. Our next problem, number 11, says Mrs. Forgus, or Ms. Forgus, is decorating the front office bulletin board. It measures 6 feet by 8 feet. She wants to hang twinkle lights along the bulletin board frame. So what is the length of lights she will need? So she wants to put, so here's her bulletin board in the office. And she wants to put little lights all along the edge of it, right? So I know that it measures 6 feet by 8 feet. And so they're looking for the perimeter. How much lights will go around the outside of the bulletin board? So things I know about rectangles, it is a 4-sided shape. But what's special about rectangles, opposite sides are congruent. So what that means is, here's 6 feet. The opposite side is also 6 feet. And here is my length of 8 feet, and the opposite is also 8 feet. And so to find the perimeter, I'm going to need to add 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus 6. So 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus 6. So I'm going to clear my calculator. 8 plus 6 plus 8 plus 6 equals 28. So my perimeter is 28 feet. 28 feet. Number 12 says the Brentfield Tigers football team warms up for practice by running around the football field. And it says the football field is 120 yards by 53 yards. So the question is, how many yards will the team run to warm up? So I'm going to go ahead and draw a picture of their football field. Okay? It is 120 yards by 53 yards. And they want to know how many yards will they run if they run the perimeter or the outside of the football field. So we're looking for the perimeter. So again, just like I did with the one above it, rectangles are special because the opposite sides are congruent. So if this side is 120, the opposite is also 120 yards. And if this side is 53 yards, the opposite side is 53 yards. So in order to figure out the perimeter, I'm going to need to add 120 plus 120 plus 53 plus 53. I'm going to add it up. So I'm going to take my calculator and I'm going to go 120 plus 120 plus 50 plus 53 equals 346. So the answer is 346, don't forget the measurement, yards. That is my answer to number 12. Number 13, Mrs. Smith is planting a garden and wants to keep the deer from eating her plants. All right, so I'm planting a garden and wants to keep the deer from eating her plants. The garden has a perimeter of 24 feet. She has a fence for 3 sides of her garden. When she goes to Home Depot, how much fencing will she need to buy? All right, so a couple of things that are different about this problem is that I already know the perimeter. Perimeter is 24 feet. Okay, so I gotta think. It could be a rectangle, but there'd be too many possibilities for that. So I'm going to say that it is a square garden. All right, and we know that it's 24 feet all the way around. So that means that if there are 4 sides, I need to think 24 divided by 4 gets me some sort of number. So I'm going to use my calculator. 24 divided by 4 equals 6. So that means that each side of my garden is 6 feet long. Okay, now I'm going to keep reading. It says she has enough fence for 3 sides of her garden. So that means that I have enough fence for one side of my garden, another side of my garden, and another side of my garden. So when I go to Home Depot, how much fencing do I need to buy to complete my garden? And if you look, the only amount that's left over is 6 feet. So I would need, Mrs. Smith would need 6 feet. And that is the answer to number 13. That is the end of our video of our study guide. So what I would suggest you do is take your time and go over your answers. And if you made a mistake, rewatch that question to make sure that you understand how to solve it correctly. Because Mrs. Smith's study guides are very close to what you will actually see on test day. I want to make sure that you are prepared. So thank you for watching and good luck on the test.